capitalized. But yeah, that's great. Twitch TV / World Builders.
Yay. All right, we are live and streaming, and hopefully we'll have a smoother start than our last episode earlier.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mur Lafferty, thank you for joining us. Do you mind if I call you Mur?
No, please. I don't know what else you would call me.
Yeah, well, I mean Ms. Lafferty, I guess, or
Oh, I see. Yes, I
yes,
am a grown up. I forgot.
yes,
So
you're a world famous author, and so therefore we have to treat you with respect, like every other living being that we treat with respect here at World Builders.
yes.
So it's nice to have you join us. I am personally very enthused about getting to know you. I have been a fan of you for a long time, and I confess more from I got to know you by reputation first through your work on Pseudopod and Escape Pod podcasts, and then also just I should be writing has kicked me in the butt more than once.
Oh, good.
So
Thank you.
I appreciate that as well. It helped me get through three and a half NaNoWriMos. So
Wow.
I appreciate
I haven't
that.
gotten through a NaNoWriMo. I like promoting. I like pushing other people, but it's hard to push and write 50,000 words in a month at the same time.
So I'm at the risk of being just for people, the three people who might not know who you are. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio. Is it okay if I use the first paragraph from Wikipedia to make sure that I don't miss anything out?
Sure. I'm not sure what's on Wikipedia, but sure.
Well now you know. Haha. Mur Lafferty, born is a American podcaster and writer. I'm not going to say where you're based because that's not necessary. I'll say in the United States. She was the editor and host of Escape Pod from 2010 until 2012, and then is the host and creator of the podcast I Should Be Writing. And until 2007 was the host and co-editor of Pseudopod. And she has written also many, many novels and bibliographies. Was Playing for Keeps your first one?
Yes.
In 2007?
That was a small press book I had in 2007.
Right. So Playing for Keeps, Nanivore Hacked, 6 Wakes, which I believe you have there with you right now.
Yes.
And Solo, A Star Wars Story Expanded Edition, which is the part that I'm really excited about having you here, as well as the Shambling Guides to New York and New Orleans, a Ghost Train to New Orleans, several novellas, short fiction, serial fiction. You're a busy person.
Yeah, I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how you can manage to keep that up because I feel like I wear a lot of hats and I don't do nearly as much stuff. And
it's all like running around spinning plates, and the plate that you're not paying attention to is just about to topple, and then you run over to that one and spin that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Not spinning all the plates at once, but just hoping none of them will fall.
In a past life, I actually was a juggler, and I never mastered spinning plates. That's one skill I don't have. So I guess that explains why. And by the way, I'll just give a shout out. Our Twitch channel stream is all there, and I think I owe you an apology because one of them is saying, "Oh, a Wikipedia page. I can start editing it." So
no, that's great because there were some out of date stuff. Because I am now currently co-editing Escape Pod again with SB Divya. Yeah, cool. I joined a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, so we're co-editors of Escape Pod again.
Nice.
In fact, we're celebrating our 15th year this year.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. I do remember when it first came out, and that's brilliant. And that is one of the nice things about it is it does become a like springboard for new authors, doesn't it? Because you take in submissions like any established publication.
Yeah, we're just like any other magazine, except we're primarily audio, and we publish print on our site. So we buy the ebook and audiobook rights, and we pay pro rates. We are SIFWA approved pro magazine, or semi-pro, I guess, in the terms of the Hugo Awards. But yeah, we've published all sorts of people, both up and comers and Ken Liu, John Scalzi, N.K. Jemisin, Cameron Hurley.
Yay,
So
Cameron.
yeah.
That's fantastic. It's neat to see somebody, carve out a niche, like Escape Pod kind of said, oh, look, here's a podcast world, and carve out a niche and then become a springboard like that. Is there any particular, you mentioned people that have been on there, anyone in particular that you're like, I'm really glad that I picked this person or that I helped this person get started?
Um, yes. I'm not sure if I was if I bought their first prose story, but I know I bought one of their first prose stories, and that was Sarah Gailey.
Oh, wow.
But that was under Mothership Zeta, which is a not print, but we tried to do an exclusive e-zine for a couple of years. I guess around 14 and 15, and we couldn't break even, so we went back to audio. But and that's when I joined Escape Pod. But Sarah Gailey was just writing books about dogs and demons and making me cry, and they took such pleasure in the fact that they were making me cry over this dog and this demon. And yeah, I'm very, very proud to have bought those early stories.
Nice. Yeah,
because
sure.
they're so amazing.
That is, and that's now. Does this now? Forgive me for not using the right parlance, but would you consider your work there as being an editor or a publisher in terms of, or is it both when you're working in those?
I'm the editor. I'm
Okay,
co-editor.
so you're the co-editor. Okay, so
Escape Artists is the sort of umbrella company that owns Escape Pod, Podcastle, Pseudopod, and Cast of Wonders, all four fiction podcasts. And Alistair Stewart and Marguerite Kenner are the publishers.
So what made you? It's kind of a which came first, the publisher or the editor or the writer?
Oh, the writer.
The writer.
I wanted to write since I was a kid. So
okay, then that leads me to wonder, like, did you decide to go into editing because somebody tried to edit something and you went, I could do better than that?
No, Sarah Ely roped me into it.
Oh, okay.
She was telling me she was thinking about starting a horror podcast since Escape Pod was doing so well. And I'm like, horror podcast? That would be like a pseudopod or a tentacle, right? And she liked it so much,
It's
she
your
actually
fault.
said I should be co-editor of Pseudopod. And so I was a little startled, but okay. And that was fun, but I was doing too much at the time and needed to scale back, so couldn't stay on for very long. I did get my start in writing horror RPGs, but science fiction fantasy is really my love. So when I got a chance to take over Escape Pod, it was a big thrill. It's, you know, the secret thing about editing is that when you read stories that aren't quite awesome, you learn a lot about writing yourself. Because I can spot problems in other people's work that I make, but I don't realize I make. It's like I see a phrase and I'm like, that doesn't work here. I use that phrase. That's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but yeah, I see. So it's editing actually makes me a better writer.
That makes sense. I mean, I know that the little I made the mistake of being a very exuberant reader before I started taking college composition courses, and when people would say, what is wrong with this sentence, and I said it's not graceful, and the professor just tore me apart because I could not explain why I knew it was wrong. I just knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense. Amusingly enough, by the way, we talked about the idea of people purchasing personalizations with the signed books you're going to do today.
Yes.
And the person from Finland, we're trying to track them down. Apparently, they didn't put in a personalization yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will say to the people in the chat who are watching this right now, part of the reason why you're here is because you agreed to donate to World Builders your author's copies of several books, but including the Solo a Star Wars story. Can you hold that up
Yes,
for us?
or
And
World Builders is helping me clean out my basement.
yes, that's true. That is a side benefit. And let it be known. Oh wait, we have the Finnish guy in the chat.
Oh, yay.
Yay!
Which book is the Finnish guy buying?
He's buying the Star Wars story. So, true fact, we didn't have the other books in our store yet. So they will go
Okay.
up later on. So those will probably not be able to purchase unless people are going to purchase it right here and now. What would you like the personalization to be? Asian.
Well, I do have, can't remember if I told you this or not. I'm sorry. I do have 2 copies of the Taiwanese Six Wakes, which is my favorite cover, and it comes with a poster. This is it's like, I have to keep one for myself, even though I can't read anything, because it's such a beautiful book and the poster's awesome. So if we don't have any Taiwanese watchers, but you're a book collector, I do think this is well worth it. I can hold it up if you like.
Yeah, I would love that actually. Edition.
This is the cover.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Isn't it? And then let me find the. Yeah, it comes with a poster with all the characters of Six Wakes drawn in sort of anime style on one side, and on the other side is the Starship Dormeyer laid out and mapped. And this was just the biggest thrill to get this art somebody did about my book. So it was very awesome.
That looked gorgeous. Do you know the name of the artist, or was it a Taiwanese artist that was doing that?
I'm sorry, you glitched out for a second.
Sorry about that. Was it a Taiwanese artist that did that, or was
I'm not actually sure. They didn't give me a ton of information on it. But it was, yeah, it's. I hope there are credits in there. I can't tell you if there are, but I hope the artist is credited somewhere, because it's a beautiful poster.
So I'm gonna real quick. While I get this, I'm letting our store manager know about the 6 weeks. There are other books. 6 weeks. And you also mentioned Book Burners. Can you talk about that?
Yes, Book Burners is a project, was the first cereal box project. They've grown out to do so many more, but Book Burners was the first, and it was me, Max Gladstone, Margaret Dunlap, and Brian Slattery, and we got together, and it was fascinating because I'd never written this collaboratively before, and we all got together, and Margaret's a TV writer, so she taught us how TV writers collaborate, and so we came up with the story, and we wrote them out. And what was terrifying was, each story was like, it was only around 10,000, 12,000 words, but there are 16 of them. So season 1, when Saga bought the rights and published it as a book, is rather massive. So
wow.
Yeah, this is all of season 1 of Book Burners, and it's a lot like The Librarians, only a little less campy and a little darker. But it also depends on who's writing it, because some of us have a lighter tone than others of us.
Yeah, well, always. What other authors are involved?
Max Gladstone, who just won the Nebula, I believe.
Yeah, this is how you lose the Time War with I never know how to pronounce her name. Amal
El-Motar.
El-Motar, thank you.
Yeah. Margaret Dunlap, who hasn't published books, but she's worked on The Middleman and The Dark Crystal, and she's worked on the new Barbie cartoon. She's just done a lot of really cool stuff. And Brian Slattery, who is not really a genre writer. And apparently getting the chance to write genre was a huge thrill for him. And he created some of the more frightening monsters. And those of us who've been writing science fiction, fantasy, and horror were just a little, Brian, you're in the wrong genre.
What I mean, it's kind of funny. There are so many things I'd like to talk to you about, and I apologize for sounding disjointed, because like I want to geek out with you about the process of writing and the process of storytelling and the technique of podcasting. But I also feel like a lot of people who are tuning into this or who are looking at the replay are here because they want to particularly talk about Solo,
Sure.
a Star Wars story. So, and I also want to recognize for everybody involved that like this represents a kind of a sea change for us. You are the first Star Wars / Disney adjacent author that we've ever talked to.
Oh, wow.
So I'm very excited, and I'm also very aware through watching other interviews. How did somebody put it? Like the mouse is always watching.
Yeah.
So I will not do something like say, what's the worst part about working for Disney or something like that, because that's not something I wouldn't want to put you in that position. What I am curious about, I'm going to guess that you've been a Star Wars fan of some sort on some level for a while.
Since 1977.
Okay, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Me too. So what was your reaction when you realized you were going to get to write Han Solo's story? Like, how did that feel?
It was overwhelming. I think my response to my agent was just, I may vomit. And then I had to follow it up by saying, this is a good thing, by the way. I'd been able to write 2 short stories in the universe. I wrote one for a Star Wars Insider that took place right before Rogue One, where I created 2 Imperial just soldiers that just, complete red shirts. No one died, but complete red shirts that I fell in love with. And I know they'll never, ever be used again in the Star Wars world, but I love them. And
they weren't the 2 that were in The Mandalorian?
I don't think so. I have actually not seen The Mandalorian all the way through.
Oh, okay. I won't spoil it. There is a pair of stormtroopers in that I think they sound similar to what you're describing, but I apologize for interrupting. No
problem. So I got to write the sort of a early Rogue One story, and so I knew the publisher. I knew that the main publisher of Star Wars, and she knew that I wanted to do a book, and she just said she's waiting for the right book to come along. And then they called me and said they wanted me to do Solo, and I was, it was amazing. It was because I hadn't done a hardcover book before, except for Book Burners, which was a collaboration, and I hadn't done, and no woman had written a Star Wars novelization until me, and now Ray Carson as well.
Wow.
So it was scary and awesome. And I read The Last Jedi novelization by Jason Fry, which was very helpful in helping me get a sense of what a good novelization needed. And I love The Last Jedi, so I'm on that side of the fence. And
even the ending?
Yeah, reading his stuff helped out a lot.
Oh wait, The Last Jedi was the second one, my bad.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes. I'm on that side of the fence as well. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So did you feel a sense of responsibility to the work and the fandom, or were you like, all right, I get to make this what I want it to be, and it's going to be canon, and y'all have to suck it?
Column B.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, there's one thing I did not realize is, I guess in hindsight, it's kind of silly that I didn't realize this, but the extra scenes that are in the novelizations are required to be there. The publisher requires you to add the extra scenes.
Okay,
And
I was curious about where those come from. I mean,
yeah,
so that wasn't.
most of them are from me. One of them was from a deleted scene, but all the others were from me. The prologue and the epilogue were both mine. The fact that they let me have Chewbacca mess up the Millennium Falcon's bathroom and use all of Lando's product to get all the mud out of his hair, they let me keep that scene, which was, you know, that's a bucket list thing right there. I did not know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Wookiee showering and stealing all of Lando's rare product all around the galaxy was a bucket list item until I did it. And then I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna write that on my bucket list and then check it off.
I'm gonna date myself by saying I now want to see Chewie doing a Breck commercial.
Yeah.
You know, just shaking the head and the hair flowing in the wind, kind of
Well, look,
thing.
anybody with hair, that's ever reached your shoulders or longer knows that that one shower he took after being in the mud pit is not gonna take care of it. Not gonna do it.
There, absolutely. Did you get to expand any of Lando's character as well?
I didn't really focus on his character that much. I focused on some of the things that I thought were needed to be expanded a little bit in the
Hmm.
film. It had a lot of awesome female characters, but I think they could have done more. And so I had lots more L3, and had one person say that they didn't like L3 in the movie, and then when they read the novelization, they came around. So that was really gratifying.
I had mixed feelings about L3 when I watched it, so I'll be interested to see how that changes reading it. I like it felt in the movie maybe too neat, you know,
Yeah.
too easily put in there. But I am also a sucker for anthropomorphizing inanimate objects or animate objects. I guess the Millennium Falcon is an animate object,
Mm-hmm.
so to some extent that helped as well. Um, I have a friend who is a avid 3D printer and modeler, and one of the first things that he made was the replica blaster, and
Mm-hmm.
then the next thing he did was he made the other parts that were, the longer rifle that is broken down to
Yeah.
form the blaster. And I'm always astonished because my first reaction was, huh, that seems like a really niche thing to print out and to do. And then my next thought was, wow, that's really cool. I want one.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just the way it works. Um,
Yes.
with the with regards to that, was there a particular part that I mean, you mentioned the Wookiee part, but and this is somewhat leading up to one of the requests for the personalization. Um, Seven Kainu, our friend from Finland, said that he was interested if there was a particular quote in the book or part of the book that you happen to like better than others, or that stood out for you.
I did not like how L3 joined with the Falcon
Hmm.
after preaching her own autonomy the whole time. And again, this is something else I can't believe they let me do. But I put in a scene about L3 merging with the Falcon
Oh,
from her point of view and her reasons why she did it.
nice.
And it was actually to save the Falcon. She didn't care about the humans on board. She cared about Lando, of course, but not enough to give up her own autonomy. But the Falcon had two AIs in it already.
Ah, okay.
And so in my head canon, which is canon, suck it,
Uh-huh.
is that she decided to join with the Falcon to save the Falcon.
That's beautiful. All right. I actually love that it shades of Murderbot
Yeah.
with the latest novel with
I
that.
haven't read it yet. Don't
I,
spoil
I,
me.
I won't,
But I
but
love Murderbot.
have you read any of them?
Yes, I've read the
Okay.
first two.
Okay. So Art, the relationship between Murderbot and
Yes.
Art is similar to that kind of thing where they're helping each other out, the ship and the robot or the
Mm-hmm.
no Murderbot.
Yes.
So, and was there a particular line of L3s? Timu is wondering if there's a quote or anything like that.
Oh gosh, I don't know. You guys are gonna have to talk amongst
All
yourselves.
right, well, I can do that. I can say
I
that
haven't.
for people looking, you can do one of the pre-orders right here and now on worldbuildersmarket.com. Possibly my producer will put the link directly to the book in the chat and have it signed right here and now. Um, and if you can't find a particular quote, Timu would be happy to, or sorry, Seven Kainu will be happy to have just the name signed. And that I do have that name here.
Well, I can come up with something.
Sure.
It's
I have to confess, and I don't. I maybe I'll change my mind after reading the book, but I have 1977. I watch the show. I go home. I immediately come up with an exercise program that will turn me into Han Solo, because I want to grow up to be Han Solo. And it's interesting that as I have grown and as I've matured, I still love Han Solo.
mhm.
However, by the end, it was loving Han Solo as a cautionary tale,
Yeah.
as a this is someone who had the capacity to be so much more, or not even he had the capacity for greatness, which he did a lot of great things, but somehow he managed to not be able to find his own contentment or his own happiness in things, um, and was alienated from his son, was alienated from
Mhm.
his wife. Went from being a general leading a rebellion to successful victory to going back to smuggling. And still lying and cheating his way through things. And I feel like we got a taste of that in Solo. Some of the implied betrayal that he goes through, that you sort of get the idea that he's kind of scarred from that. Um, and admittedly, I am projecting a hell of a lot here because I am someone who grew up looking at this, and just as I made my own decisions in life, I'm like, watched some of the things that he did, and I'm like, I am glad that I am still on good terms with my daughters. I am glad that I am trying to become more professional and not going backwards in terms of that. Um,
Mhm.
uh, so I don't know. Do you think am I projecting there too much? Do you think, or is it? Do you have similar
No,
thoughts
you're
about
right.
him?
It's a cautionary tale. The reason why we love Solo is like the reason why we like anybody who doesn't look like he has to work very hard.
Hmm.
Solo doesn't plan. He goes entirely by instinct, which is not always good, but he's really good at adapting. But like, hey, let's plan out our marriage together. Not his thing. You know,
Hmm.
it's the planning is where he starts to feel stifled. And so writing him younger, I still used that, but with a lot more confidence, not bravado confidence like in the movies, which, maybe not have always really been there, but he tried to show it.
Right.
But just, I can do this. Sure. Why not? Let's give that a try. And um, I think the fact that he's able to get himself out of the problems he gets himself into is one reason why he doesn't change. And he still
Yeah.
remains because it's like he doesn't see too much of a problem with it.
It's a mostly
Um,
successful strategy.
yeah.
Right.
Except I'm
Um,
not entirely sure how he lost the Falcon. Did that ever get explored in books or comics?
um, I that's a good question. It I think he was trying to get it back at some point. They
Right.
will they will probably yeah. The oh, so did you have a favorite quote? Because Seven Kainu came up with one too.
I'm still looking.
Okay, well, how about I've got a good feeling about this?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Yes.
yes, Saucefire. Saucefire, of course, you would come through. Saucefire says someone stole the Falcon and sold it to Unkar Plutt.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that someone would be able to find that out. But yeah, the first signature is to have to Timu, which is capital T-E-E-M-U, and
Okay.
and then the quote is, "I've got a good feeling about this."
Are we talking the hardcover or the softcover?
That's a good
The
question.
itty bitty paperback or the larger?
The hardcover is the English version, right? Or are they both
Yes,
English?
I do have 3 French versions.
Right. Okay. How many hardcover are there?
11.
11. Okay. Um, I will find out. Was and 7 Kainu, if you want to tell me too. Um, so Finland order a hardcover. All right. Yeah. Were you pleased with the actor that they got to play him?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
I did too. I was like, I'm glad that they used somebody that was not mega star,
Yeah.
but had the look and more importantly the mannerisms and the physicality
Hmm.
of Harrison Ford. I was worried that they were going to try and put, like it would, and not no offense against Brad Pitt as an actor, but I was worried they would try and put someone like that in there who, is so well known for other things that it would be Brad Pitt playing Han Solo as opposed
Hmm.
to this person is embodying that. Um, yeah, so that part I was pleased with, and I did like all the other things, including, you know, I liked Woody Harrelson. I'm not so pleased with Woody Harrelson given some of the recent public things that he said. But I thought that his character was good in that. But there's a point where you're like, oh, look, it's the leader, and it's another cis white guy.
Hmm.
Oh, look, it's the leader, and it's and they say, but look at the diverse crew that they have. It's like, yes, but good, and you know, yes, it is the hardcover, by the way.
Okay.
Um, and I,
Yeah,
and
I tried to expand Val as much as I could. I didn't have a huge option, but had some fun with that.
nice,
She
nice,
remembers a lot of their she remembers a lot of their adventures together, including the time that a princess decided that Beckett was going to be her chosen prince and kidnaps him, and they have to go rescue him.
nice.
That was fun to put in there because Val would just like storm the castle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, that would just be the way it would work. Um, and I should also say that the other another one of the other people in chat mentions that Paul Bettany was a great villain in Solo.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he definitely played that, which was kind of weird because I'm like, Vision, what happened?
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, actually, Timu expanded on Saucefire's thing, which is that Chewie had taken it to repairs in Jakku, and Unkar stole it from there. So
Okay.
apparently, yeah. I mean, there's probably a whole, the paper trail leads who knows how far.
Yeah.
I am going to ask that, and this is what I'm going to say, just so everyone knows. Yes, I do, as you may notice, occasionally wear World Builders and use World Builders merchandise. I do actually pay full price for them because this is a charity. And along with that, I am going to buy one of those hardcover books as well. And I just want to make sure everybody knows that I am paying full price for it. I'm not just grabbing it off the shelf. And so if you would, my name is spelled Gray, and I would love to have that autographed because then I can show it to my friend who is building the big rifle and make him jealous.
Nice.
Yeah, gotta take my victories where I can. And you said you have paperbacks too. How many of the paperback versions do you have?
11.
Oh, 11 of those. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was 11 hardcover and 11 English and 11 French. So okay.
No, 3 French. Sorry. Del Rey was very generous.
Gotcha.
So I'm very glad to be able to.
And the French are hardcover as well?
No, they're soft cover, but they're what's it called?
Trade
Uh,
paperback?
yeah, trade paperback. They're larger. I would grab one, but there's a bunch of books on top of them. Can you grab one? No, grab the one underneath. Thank you. Yes, this is the size of the French.
Ah, nice. What was do you have any idea what was the decision behind, I mean, the cover with that sort of weathered look in it? I mean, I love it, but I was surprised to see it. Did
I
you
think
have
it's
it?
a lot. I think it has to do with he's scruffy looking.
Ah,
As
there you go.
he's not. This story is not all clean and neat, and uh, yeah, there's
Okay.
good and bad people doing good and bad things, and
Yeah. Which honestly I think always makes a better story. I'm
yeah, definitely.
very much a fan of nuance, and I think that the lack of nuance is one of the key flaws in the world we live in right now.
So here's a question for you.
Uh-oh.
This is really funny because I can't. Um, I hear so many different things. Do you think that Kira betrayed Han?
No.
Okay.
No. I think that she was consistent in her care for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also that, again, this is one of those kind of character flaws. He had an inability to see beyond his expectations.
Yeah.
And so he definitely felt like, I'm always a big fan of the whole people's experiences are valid. So he can feel like she betrayed him, and she can feel like she was being true to him, and both can be simultaneously true.
Yeah.
There's not a total reality there. So no, I don't think that she betrayed him. I think it was sad. It was unfortunate.
Oh, sure.
And everybody was regretting decisions that they had made in various times.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the story of life. Let's see if the anybody in chat. What do you think, chat? Anybody think that she did betray him?
I found a quote finally for Timu, but it's a slight spoiler for the epilogue of the book.
Okay. Do you want to just maybe put it in as a surprise and not tell him?
Sure.
Yeah. So, Tima, you're
Sure.
going to get a surprise quote as well, that we'll put in there.
Oh crap.
And what it really, it really is, it's Beckett saying, Han, I am your father. So Kate said that Kira seemed to feel rented lips. She seemed to play the political game very well. The repercussions are always bad for someone else as a result, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of the Game of Thrones thing, the political game, you either win or you're dead.
Yeah.
Or although sometimes I think even the winners are not really the winners. But yeah. Cool. All right. And then we have, yeah, and they point out that it was a situation where really nobody won.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the fun scenes again that I learned a lot about point of view from this project, because I had the script and the middle grade book was already done, so I had that to help me with some of the scenes, and I found the stuff that I can't remember his name, dang it, but the middle grade author put in a scene from the point of view of the monster at the center of the maelstrom.
Okay.
And it was beautiful. And I'm like, I really wish I could adapt this, but that's his.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful scene. Oh crap, where was I going with this? No.
Perspective?
Yes, thank you. point of view. I would, after getting through several scenes, I'm just like, I feel like I'm just writing down what happens in the movie. And I was feeling really sluggish.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that, one, we don't know what the characters are thinking, and that is a luxury that the novelists have to
Right.
interpret. But two, the film's about Han Solo, and we're all solo, and I just realized that scenes were going to play out exactly the same way, but look differently if I tell it from another point of view. So when
Right.
Kira and Han find each other again, that's all told from Kira's point of view. And
Gotcha.
that suddenly made it feel like I was writing something newer anyway. I still had my map that I had to follow, but I could put little details here and there about how she was viewing that scene.
Oh, so this puts me in mind of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm like, and now I want to see like a whole story arc of all the movies, but all told from those two stormtroopers' point of view. Like they're just
Yes.
the people alongside, or maybe from like a male robot or something. Little thing. Um, we have a order for one of the book burners.
Okay.
And this one has a request for a dedication to Johanna, Johanna, who is a Middleman fan and perked up when you mentioned
Awesome.
that. Yeah. We have more input about Kira. She knew she can't escape. She was a bit power hungry, unlike everybody else in the thing. And Han was already from her past life, so she knew she couldn't go back. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I think that is part of the thing, is that he felt like they could go back to something, and
Yes.
she knew that the world had moved on. You know, that was just the way it was. The other question is, Timo was asking, was there any of the storyline that was edited out that you would have liked to have left in? Like, did you have deleted scenes that you wish you could have expanded on?
They deleted one of my scenes, which was a scene about Enfys Nest remembering her mother and some of the training she went through. And Lucasfilm cut it, essentially saying they weren't ready to explore the backstory of that character yet. So,
Okay.
you know, they probably had a plan for a comic or a book or something down the line, and they didn't want me to make anything canon about her. And that's really the only thing they cut.
Did they give you like the Han Solo Bible or something where you would?
Not really. I got to see all the early versions of the books, like the visual guide and the pictures from the movie. It was really useful because it helped with my description.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I got any more information than is already available. There's they're very, very, very tight with their scripts. Very tight. So, you know, when I worked on the story that was came out right before Rogue One, I didn't have much more information than there's this guy in a big white cape and he's pretty powerful and they're looking for kyber crystals. So,
gotcha.
Big white cape, scary, kyber crystals, go. So,
I mean, there are worse story prompts.
Oh, sure.
So, I guess you get to have a break from this for a while. You said you were working on a new novel. Can you talk about that?
Yes, I'm working on a book for Ace, and it is a sort of, it doesn't have a title yet, but working title is Mid-Solar Murders, and I call it Murder, She Wrote meets Babylon 5, where I hang a lantern on the fact that the person around whom all the murders happen, even if they solve those murders, people really aren't going to want to be around them, and they're going to become pariahs. They're going to be investigated constantly. And if they got a chance to leave the planet, they would. So we have, Jessica Fletcher, Miss Fisher, Father Brown character going to live on an alien space station, hoping that maybe this time, whatever it is about her that makes humans kill each other next to her won't happen with the aliens.
Why does this keep happening to me?
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice. And is this the first project you've done since Solo, or is there
No, I did a middle grade novel for Minecraft. So I did Minecraft The Lost Journals, which I believe was third in the series.
Gotcha. I have to tell my grandson about that. He's a very, very enthusiastic Minecraft player. Do you find it difficult to switch? I mean, that seems actually like going from blockbuster movie to middle grade thing to personal. I'm assuming it's adult novel.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble switching gears like that, or is that kind of refreshing?
Not really. They were all. I definitely didn't get bored. Solo was, here is a major movie, and here's the script that you definitely can't deviate from. Minecraft was, here is a world without a plot. The only thing you have to do is entertain us and stick by the game rules.
Okay.
I put food in there that you can't make in the game, and they didn't like that. They took the food down. I had to change what the people were eating to make sure it was food you could make in the game. But because you can teleport your pet dog to you, I did use that as well. And so that was freedom with a different kind of restriction to write that.
Okay.
And so I did those 2 licensed books back to back, and it's been really good to get back to my own stuff, despite the fact that it's been hard to write, mostly because of the state of the world right now. But it's been, I've just in the past couple of weeks really hit my stride, and I'm feeling better about it. So hoping it'll be done soon.
I'm assuming that this is I should make the assumption, is writing your full-time job, writing and editing?
Writing and podcasting. I make money via Patreon. My podcast audience supports me, and the books, royalties and stuff. So it's a variety of things.
I should make sure that our producer puts in the Patreon link for you as well.
Thank
you. How are you holding up? I mean, it is a scary world we're in. We just got the news that we are up here in Wisconsin, now have the worst rate of spread in the country. So we're not doing too well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're doing okay-ish. I haven't looked at the news recently. We're having the problem everybody else is having, which is, well, our governor says, you know what, maybe keep masks on and stay home if you can. And everyone else is angry about the problems that creates. And everyone else thinks it's summer and it's all over. And they're wandering. I mean, I don't like wearing a mask in summer either, but I don't want to catch COVID.
Right,
so
exactly.
I do it.
And I don't want anybody else to get it either.
Now, the worst part for me has been, I think my stress is manifesting in my shoulders, which gives me a migraine. I have migraines, and it's been worse this spring than ever before. So I'm blaming it on all the stress of the world. But
right. Are you feeling like I don't know if it's similar for you, but with World Builders, we have a distributed team now, and a lot of us can work from home. I've not worked in the office since, I guess, early April. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, it seems like. And on the one hand, I'm very grateful that I have work that I can do from here at home, and I have an office and that. And at the same time, there's a part of me that sees people out sort of, having fun and complaining about all the extra spare time that they have. And, doing these amazing new projects, and I'm like, that, but I want to have projects. I want to have a summer. So it's kind of a mixed bag there. Do
I've
you?
been feeling, oh, let's just be honest, resentful of people who are doing new, exciting, creative things
Hmm.
because I'm feeling, like a big weight is on top of me with all the worry and the stress. But a friend of mine did tell me that a lot of the people have been, like a lot of people in Hollywood who've been making really interesting, neat things. He's like, they can't go to work. They
Yeah,
don't have a job right now. They can't act, they can't make movies, they can't go to work. We still have to work because nothing has changed for me except for there are more people in the house all the time.
exactly.
And we get along really well. So,
That's a lucky thing. That,
oh, I know, I
there have
know.
been times that has not happened. Yeah.
But but yeah, it's like sometimes I feel like even though I mean, I work from home, so my
Hmm.
work hasn't changed very much, but I feel like I see other people making these awesome things. And I think maybe I should do that too. And I'm thinking, when and with what mental energy? How many spoons do you
That's
have left
it. Yeah.
to create something new and exciting? And I don't
Yeah.
know. So I mean, I'm being petty when I say I'm resentful of those people. It's great what they're doing, and I do understand that they can't do their job right now, and so they're going to do something else, which is entertaining to people, which we all need.
Hmm. Agreed. Which, honestly, I'm glad you can still do your job because you're also, helping to expand, and you're doing it in a way you're doing it in a way that is helping keep people at home,
That's true. Stay
because
home and read.
stay home and read a damn book. Yep. It's that was our earliest response to COVID, was we sent books to people and said, here's some books, stay home and read. um,
Yeah, I've been reading a lot more lately.
mhm.
So, yeah.
Actually, I think we're getting close to the end, but I will ask you, what would you recommend if I said, I'm looking for a good book? What would you recommend I pick up?
Well, when I signed the deal for 6 weeks, something frightening, terrifying occurred to me, which is I just sold a mystery and I don't read mysteries.
Ah,
What have I done? And so I essentially started mainlining Agatha Christie.
okay.
And I have since found a couple of modern day mystery writers that I really enjoy. And I've been, last weekend, I read both The Guest List and The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley.
Lucy
And
Foley. Okay.
it's a modern day murder mystery. And she takes some of the murder mystery tropes and puts them on their head, which is really refreshing. You don't know who the murderer, you don't know who the victim is or the murderer because she jumps in time a lot. So you've
Oh,
got people outside of
okay.
the crime saying, "Oh my God, they found the body. Let's go find the body and get the
Right.
body." And then it goes back in time, and so you see all of your people, and you start to wonder, okay, which one of them is going to kill which one of them? And
Right.
um, it was really interesting, especially
Yeah.
because I was taught the thing of the person's got to die, like
Right. A crime has
definitely
been
March
committed.
3rd. It's
Now.
got to happen
Yeah.
soon. And while that technically does happen because you do get the flashback chapters and you get the now chapters don't really tell you much. It's just except to just excite you about, wow, what are they talking about? And then it goes back to actually descriptive things. But really enjoyed her stuff. I'm A friend of mine just came out with a self-published book called America Inc. Um, and it's based on Andrea Phillips. It's based on a short story she wrote for Fireside Magazine a couple of years ago about Nike taking on fascism, and then she expanded it into a book, and that got delivered to my Kindle last night, and I'm very excited to read it.
Yeah.
Because
Wish they'd
Andrea
come to
actually is
America.
the Book Burners author later on in later seasons, so I know how good she is.
Ah, okay. Huh.
And
So,
yeah,
say that name again? The name of the
America Inc.,
America
like
Inc.
Incorporated.
Cool. Yeah. Our chat is also agreeing with you that books are the refuge during this stressful
Yeah.
time. Um, and
And I'm also
book.
reading more Agatha Christie because she had so
Okay.
many books. I still haven't gone through them all.
Oh yeah, well, and then you can read the spin-offs and the tributes to and things like that
Yeah.
as well, right? So yeah, my girlfriend got me interested in the Agatha or not the Miss Fisher mysteries on
Hmm.
TV and the movie.
Those are a lot
Um,
of fun.
yeah, they are a lot of fun. I hear the books are very different, but still good. So haven't dug into them yet.
I think I read Cocaine Blues, but it didn't really stick with me much.
Hmm,
So didn't make a huge impression. I don't remember hating it, don't remember loving it. I just read it.
gotcha. Well, I appreciate you coming in. If it's okay with you, we'll give it a day or so to see if more orders come in,
Sure.
and then we will get these now. Timu and the other people who have ordered, Mur is going to sign them and then carefully pack them up because we love books, and then send them to us, and then we will send them on to you. So it's going to be a little while for delivery, especially to Finland, because first it has to escape America and then make it into the more civilized nations. So when that comes, and thank you so much, Mur, for this. This has really been a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate on behalf of World Builders that you're helping us raise money for this. So,
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure being here, and I've been wanting to help out with World Builders for a while. I just wasn't sure who to talk to, and was very grateful that you approached me. So thank you,
very happy
and thank
to.
you for helping clean out my basement for a good
Absolutely. If
cause.
it ever gets dirty again, let us know. We're always happy to help.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you,
Well,
Gray.
stay safe.
You too.